Are you ready, podcast? Time to demonstrate. Rachelle Logan, the etiquette queen, teaching us all how to thrive in the scene. Etiquette queen, she's on the scene. Professional development, living the dream. Public speaking, bridging the gap. Success is a journey, ain't no looking back. Knowledge is power, that's the truth. Learning from the best, that's the proof.
Greetings. I am your host, Lady Rachelle of the Are You Ready show on WDRB Media. Welcome. On today's show, I will discuss a really big problem we are having in corporate business today. If you are working in corporate world, do you think your attire is affecting how you are treated in the workplace? Join me so we can have a lively discussion on how to handle this important problem in the corporate world. Remember to listen to every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the Are You Ready show, where I will discuss topics that will educate, uplift, and inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Okay, now since I was in the Navy for 20 years, it was never an option as to what I was going to wear every day to work. My attire at work was already decided, and there was no options at all other than wearing a skirt or slacks. At the most, I changed my lipstick color and my hairstyle. That's about all I could do. Since then, I was dressed like men. Those were the only two things that I could change on a daily basis. And whatever hairstyle I had, it had to fit under my military cover, which is a hat that we wear every time we have to go outside. My nails could not be long, and they had to be neat and neutral with clear polish. My lipstick had to be neutral also, which is kind of hard for us women of color sometimes, but we couldn't have anything loud like red or burgundy or fuchsia. Our appearance at work was not a distraction at all. That is where I got my discipline from when it came to work attire. I was in meetings at the Pentagon, and the civilian employees that I work with wore suits and ties just about every day. So when I became a government employee, I wore suits and nice shirts every day because I was still going to those meetings in the Pentagon, and I didn't want to be the one that stood out with different types of clothes. Even my husband dressed in a suit and tie every day when he worked for FAA. His office was in Washington, D.C., and he was in the headquarters building, so there were dress codes and rules for them. When I eventually had a staff as a civilian manager, I am glad they were all military members in the military before, because they all dressed appropriately, so I did not have any issues with their work attire. I knew what they were going to be wearing just about every day. I remember when I interviewed for a webmaster. That's what we used to call them back then. I think they call them IT professionals now. I don't know. When this young 20-something-year-old came in for an interview, she was dressed in a nice suit and very polished. She got the job. When she came to work the very first day, she had on jeans and a low-cut top. As a supervisor, I almost fainted. If I had had pearls on, I would have been clutching my pearls. I'm telling you, because I remember her when she came in for her interview. I didn't even think I had to say anything to her about the dress code because she already fit the bill. Everyone in the command knew how I was about my staff and their appearance because of our jobs. We were public affairs. We were always in front of the camera. We were always at high profile events where we had to look very professional. So to my surprise, when my contractor showed up in jeans and a low-cut top, I immediately had a discussion with her about her attire. The government has a dress code of business casual, or what they call business formal. It depends on your job. There are some jobs that allow khakis or jeans. It depends on your job, okay? You could be a person that worked in IT and you're always on the desk and things like that. So khakis or whatever could be appropriate. But in corporate America, I don't think that's going to cut it. And my office was not one of those. Fortunately, my contract had no issues with changing her wardrobe after I talked to her. I had received compliments as soon as she walked in the door. her attire became the topic of discussion. Before they even knew what she was hired for. What she had on already had set a precedence on people judging her. After I had the discussion with her, there were no more issues. She came dressed appropriately for the office that she was working in and for the other people that she was working with. After the break, I will have my daughter Diana on to help me understand how the attire in the workplace is changing with different generations. And you all have seen it. And if there is a problem with supervisors on how employees are dressing today, is it affecting how they are being treated? This is Lady Rachelle of WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Welcome back to the Are You Ready show, where we are discussing attire in the workplace. Hello, Diana.
How's it going?
Thank you for being here. I have a few questions that I would like to ask you because I know you are in corporate America right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you previously worked on a military base, and those people were in uniform, and you had to decide as a worker, okay, what do I need to wear in order to fit in with this office? So who did you come to? Yours truly, because I had been both with the military and with civilian personnel. And you remember seeing me every day in uniform, your entire life pretty much, when you were growing up. And you saw your dad in a suit and tie every day going to work. What did you think about when you started working as far as, okay, what am I going to wear, and you know, how should I dress and things like that?
You know, I didn't really have a good outlook on what the working life was going to be other than you and my dad, other than my parents. So my thought was that all workforce was going to be dressed to the 10 every single day, right? Full suits and ties, full dress skirts, you know, looking your best every single day. However, when I did arrive to work, it was a very different story. I remember my very first day of my full-time job, working in the government. I showed up full black suit, you know, hard bottom shoes, you know, didn't have my hair any flashy way or anything, didn't wear like any crazy makeup or anything. And I remember I met my manager, my boss, on the first day, and he looked like he had just left a cookout. I mean, and this was full government, like first time job, I'm out of college, and I mean, he didn't really say anything about my attire, but I look around and I'm just like, I am completely overdressed. Like it was an eye opener, but an eye opener in the other direction.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I had to learn what business casual meant, because it's literally more like casual business.
Right. And I know I took you shopping for your first set of business clothes, and I went with browns, blacks, you know, very neutral colors, and no loud color blouses and things like that. And I do remember the shoes were very conservative type shoes, and my goal in doing that was to not let your clothes bring attention to you in a negative way, because I've been through it. Now, you changed jobs, right? Now you're away from the military, you are away from Washington, D.C., and you're in a corporation, a very huge private sector. Yes. There are no military people there for you to take a look at and go, okay, they're in uniform, I should dress like this. What did you think when you first started working as far as people's appearances?
Sure. Honestly, it's the same approach, right? In my interview, you know, I did ask the question, what is the culture like? And all of them said it was, you know, casual, business casual. So again, you know, I had to think of, well, what was I used to, you know, working in the government those few years that I did. So I kind of had a good idea of what, you know, to expect. And it pretty much has, you know, met up to what I was expecting. Business casual is some people, the younger generations though, I think they need to have a better idea of what business casual means, because again, it's going to be more casual, less business. And, you know, in my corporation, we are working with multiple generations. So the older generations are business.
Right.
Very formal.
You're talking about me, right? People my age.
they have on blazers,
right,
matching pants, hard bottom shoes, you know, tie, everything, right?
Right.
And the younger generation, such as myself, you know, I'm a millennial, and we're also working with the Gen Zers now. So I have seen jeans, I have seen tennis shoes, I have seen, you know, everything in the spectrum, right? So, and we also work with different cultures. So we have people who are from overseas that work in our company, and what they think of business casual is even different, right? So it's just a mesh, right? And as a company, I think you can definitely understand what not to wear, because you definitely stand out if you wear the wrong thing. But I think the term of business casual has a wide spectrum in today's world.
And from a boomer's perspective and someone who grew up around professionals, I think that the attire has gotten a little too lax on the casual side of it. I teach on 3 principles: respect, discipline, and self-confidence. And to me, it just thinks that, well, hey, my clothes should have nothing to do with my productivity. I can work in jeans just as well as I can work in a suit and tie. Well, that's good if you're working from home. But because people are now returning back to the workplace, they're requiring people to go on travel again. Your attire is a representation of the company that you work with. Mm-hmm. Personally, I did not like jeans at work. I did not like flip-flops and all sorts of shorts and stuff. I personally did not allow that as far as being on my staff. Number one, because of our jobs and the fact that at any minute we could be on CNN or MSNBC because of a breaking news story. Now, I am looking at you and your brother, and I am happy that you all know when to turn on the professionalism and when not to. That to me is more of a problem, that some people feel like, well, why should it matter what I look like when I come to work? I mean, I'm just here to do a job, and my clothes and my hair and my nails and eyelashes should have nothing to do with my productivity, and I totally disagree with that.
So I do have a comment though. I think it also depends on your job, right? Because when I had an internship a few years ago, when I first was starting, I work in the IT technical field or cybersecurity field, and my first job required me to crawl up under the desk.
Right.
I'm plugging in wires, I'm lifting up floor tiles, I am in some very dusty, dirty areas. And I had on a dress some days.
And I'm sure I had something to do with, because those are the things that I said, you must go to work looking professionally.
Now granted, I did get offered the full-time job from my internship. However, I probably could have worn some more comfortable clothing for that particular job.
And I agree with that, because like I said earlier, depending on the job,
right,
you dress accordingly. But if you're just in a regular office with people every day, no cameras, no big VIPs coming through all the time, I think people have gotten so laxed in their appearance, and especially the younger groups. I think if they could come to work with the pajama pants and the, what do you call those shoes? Crocs. If they could come in in Crocs every day, they would. To me, that is not a good representation of the company, because professionalism should always be the first thing on your mind when you go to work. Whether you like your job or not, your appearance should not be an issue to me. And the reason I say that is because if someone does come in and they're like, who is doing this amazing work? I want them to come to my company and do some training, and they see you and you're like, oh no, I'm not normally this bad every day. It's just, you just caught me on a bad day. Don't let people catch you on a bad day looking like you just got up out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
To me, every day you should at least get up and try to look professional. And what I told my staff, I had 2 males, former military guys. I said, if you want to wear just a long sleeve shirt or whatever, I told them to keep a necktie in the drawer and keep a business coat hanging up in our closet, a business jacket rather. And I told them anytime they are called and they have to go to the Pentagon or they have to go to the Congress building, put that tie on, put that jacket on, and then put it back in the drawer. So they were never caught off guard. And that, they worked for me for years and years and years, and that helped the males a lot because they did not want to sit at work every day at their desk with a suit and tie on. And it worked. When they needed to get the tie out of the drawer, they would do it. They would get their suit jacket, and we were good. I didn't have an issue sending them to meetings on my behalf. I didn't have an issue with someone showing up into the command, like some senior officer or senior military person, them wanting to talk to us about an issue. They were always prepared. And I'm big on being prepared. And ladies, the same thing. If you wear a dress or a skirt and top, have a nice blazer available so that you can just grab it and put it on top of anything you wear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, you know, I definitely have done some shopping sprees for even my current job. So just getting a group of a bunch of blouses that are nice, right? And a bunch of business pants, slacks, I guess that they can be called, and some flats. For me, I prefer to wear flats at work just because I'm already tall and I don't feel like walking in heels. So, right. But just that combination of a nice blouse, nice trousers or pants, and some flat shoes should be good, right? Not flip-flops though.
Right. We don't ever want to see flip-flops at work.
I did have a question though. So that we can learn, right? What are some cons to wearing things that are unprofessional in the workplace? Like what actually can happen?
Okay. I have always been in conservative jobs. The military for 20 years, and then a civilian employee with the Department of the Navy, and then I retired again. What I have seen is that you are judged as soon as people see you. People judge you because they see you before they hear you. Okay? I'm going to say that again. People judge you based on what they see before they actually hear you. So when you get up in the morning and you look into the mirror and you go, I wonder, is this appropriate for work? Don't put it on. Because if you have to question yourself about a certain top or a certain pair of earrings or some 6-inch heels or a very, very tight pair of slacks or skirt, then you know someone else is going to comment. You don't want your attire to be the topic of discussion when your abilities at work and your professionalism should be what they're talking about. I have personally seen people written up because of certain things that they wear and that they consistently wear, things that are too tight, things that are too short, heels that are too long, because to them it's distracting. To them, they don't want you going out representing their company if this is how you're going to dress. And we can get down to the makeup. We can get down to the nails. All that is your appearance. Corporate America will not change their rules because you decide you want to wear a certain thing. That's not what they're there for. Unfortunately, you have to conform to what their standards are. And when you go to work trying to say, well, my hair is my hair and I can wear it like I want to, that would be grounds for someone to either put you on probation until you changed your hair, or they will say, if you don't change it, you will be fired. Now, I know HR is busy these days because we have come up with some remarkable hairstyles that more power to them. However, in a professional working environment, let's say you're in a law firm, you graduated top of your class in the law firm school. You walk in and you look like you just came from a club. Do you think that they're going to send you out to represent their law firm in a courtroom? Because your clothes will become the topic of discussions. We have women basketball coaches that are going through that very thing right now because they feel the need to wear very tight clothes and very high heels and long hair and all long nails and eyelashes. Instead of their talent being the topic of discussion, it's their clothes. And do they care? We don't know. However, it is an issue, and it is always talked about on social media. I'm like, this woman just won 50 games, and yet every time she comes up, they talk about her clothes.
Right.
So, and it's the younger generations that are doing this. We older ones, we knew that the least little thing could get you fired, so we were not going to let our clothes be the reason that they reprimanded us or keep threatening to fire us.
Right. Yeah, so if you have any questions about attire, what should I wear? What should I wear to interviews, or what should I wear while I'm on the job? You know, what are things that are appropriate and not appropriate? You can find your answers in our book, Mannerism. Link is in the bio. Link is in the bio, and it is sold on Amazon. So please get you a copy of the Mannerism book, and you can learn everything you need to know about professional attire.
And also on the website, we have online classes that you can actually take, and it will talk about my 3 principles: respect, discipline, and self-confidence. Now, a question for you, Diana. Have you ever had to talk to someone about their attire? Because you're a manager now. So have you ever had to counsel or take someone to the side and say, hey, I don't know about that particular outfit? Or
personally, I have not experienced that yet. Yes, I'm a young manager. I've actually only managed people who are older than me. So I have always been the youngest person on my team. Which I'm completely blessed for that, because I learned so much that way. So I haven't really experienced a lot of, young people per se that need to have that conversation. However, I have seen that in the workplace, and I have mentioned that to other people who may have been younger than me, that, hey, this is against dress code, basically. You kind of have to approach the situation like that, because it's not just it's not just an opinion.
Right.
You're breaking a rule.
Right.
Right. And if the wrong person sees it in the office, they're going to write you up, and they're probably going to, continue that further, and you can get fired. Right.
Yes.
And no one should be fired over clothes.
Right.
So,
it's just not worth it.
Right.
It's just not worth it. And if you're used to wearing, very tight clothes and high heels and all these different things, think about your job. Mm-hmm. Is it that important to you that you would go in, break some rules, because you will be breaking the dress code rules? Mm-hmm. Then think about think about your priorities. Right. I mean, you want the job, you applied for the job, you got the job. Now, your job right now, on top of everything else, is to keep your job. Mm-hmm. and be a team player, and not let your clothes and your attire be the topic of discussion at lunch. I have been in those conversations. I have seen the people that they were talking about, and it is not a good thing, because the young lady that they were talking about was an amazing writer. She was a journalist, and I mean, she was one of the best. But I did not hear one person at that lunch table talk about her performance. All they talked about was, did you see what she had on? Did you see the way she was walking in here with those high heels on? Who needs high heels at work like that? This is not a club. So people, look, after the break, I will provide some tips how you can gauge the climate when it comes to office attire when you start a new job. Get your pens and paper ready. I'm Lady Rachelle, and this is WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Listen every Wednesday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for news you can use. For more information on corporate professionalism, visit my website at RachelleLoganMedia.com. That's RACHELLELOGAN media.com, for an amazing book on mannerisms, children's etiquette coloring books, and online professional development courses. Welcome back to the Are You Ready show. I have been discussing attire in the workplace with my daughter Diana, and I have some solutions that will help you not only with the way you look, but how to not let your attire be an issue. Number one, make sure you read, regardless of your job, the company policy on work attire. Read it and make sure you understand what is in that policy. Number two, ask your new coworkers what is acceptable and what is not. There may be some clothing items that are not on the dress code policy, but some supervisors may find them appropriate. Number three, don't try to change the climate of your department by constantly showing up in attire that you would wear to a nightclub or to a concert. Your attire should be professional at all times while you are at work. Your makeup, your hair, and your nails are all part of your attire. Make sure they are not over the top so that you can stand out like a sore thumb. Let your talent and professionalism be the topic of discussion and not your appearance. Whether it's good or bad, or you think it's fair or not, we are judged by our appearance first. Remember, you are seen before you are heard. Always remember that I base everything I teach in my classes and workshops on three principles: respect, discipline, and self-confidence. I have trained numerous company employees on office attire and etiquette, and it has helped them to not let their attire prevent them from getting a promotion or sent on business trips to represent the companies or on business. If you are questioning yourself if an outfit is not meant for work, don't wear it. If you think maybe that it might not be appropriate for work, then probably it isn't. Follow your gut feeling. I want you to take pride in your self-confidence and respect yourself and your company. Use discipline to make sure you are consistent with your decisions, and don't let your attire be the topic of discussion. Let that be your work ethic. This is the end of my show. Please visit my website where I have books that cover these topics at Rachelle Logan Media. And remember to join me each Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will be providing you with information to help you uplift, educate, and inspire you. Are you ready to be the best version of yourself? I believe you are. Thank you for watching my channel. Be sure to check out my website, RachelleLoganMedia.com. You can find the link in the description. I also have an online school teaching public speaking, etiquette, and much more. I also wrote multiple books for adults and children that will teach you to become the best version of yourself. Thank you, and see you next time.